On April 21st, the European Commission presents the contents of a new package of sanctions against the Russian Federation to the ambassadors of the EU countries, Politico writes, citing 4 European diplomats. As it became known to the publication, in particular Germany asked Brussels to include nuclear energy in the new package of sanctions.
The Commission informed EU ambassadors on Wednesday that it will invite them for closed-doors briefings on the planned content of the package, aka the famous confessionals, this Friday, according to 4 diplomats. In these confessionals, the Commission usually briefs ambassadors in small groups on what to expect, while the envoys can indicate their government's red lines. Jakob Hankevela, journalist for Political publication.
Head of the European Commission, Ursula von der Leyen, has previously said the next package will aim to fight sanctions circumvention and loopholes.
We have introduced the possibility in the 10th package on listing either personalities or companies or entities where we see, also in third countries, that they circumvent the sanctions. So a bundle of measures taken already. But this is certainly not enough, and therefore the 11th package of sanctions will also and mainly deal with the question of circumvention and how we can go against it.
In the European Union, it is assumed that sanctions against Russia have probably reached their ceiling, writes the Financial Times. Officials working on future EU sanctions will do little more than expand the list of individuals subject to the asset freeze and entry ban, now nearly 1,500 people and more than 200 organizations, and close to loopholes Russia exploits. Most officials in the comments to the publication admit that only those parts of the Russian economy that are too important for one or more EU member states remained without sanctions, which means that any measures directed against them will be vetoed.
We're done. If we impose more sanctions, there will be more exceptions than measures. One of the European officials on condition of anonymity in an interview with the Financial Times.
Some EU countries will repeat their demands for a ban on the export of Russian nuclear fuel and services, which have increased in recent days thanks to German support. But Hungary and France are categorically against it, so individual sanctions are likely to be introduced against the heads of the Kremlin-controlled Rosatom concern, and financial restrictions will be imposed on the concern, the expert said.
Therefore, the sanctions will mainly relate to financial issues. This is financing, this is participation in projects, this is the restriction of access for the management and employees of Rosatom to all possible events that the European Union involves. That is, in other words, it will be more a restriction of projects, a restriction of investments, but there will be no restriction of activities, that is, Russia will continue to supply nuclear fuel and Russia will continue to import nuclear waste, also earning billions of dollars on this.
As for the loopholes to circumvent the restrictions that the Russian Federation resorts to with the help of third countries, the new sanctions package should block any opportunity for Russia to use them, Ilyanis Khodovsky said.
If a country helps to circumvent sanctions, if companies operate on its territory and they turn a blind eye to this, which resell American or European technologies and then these technologies are used in weapons, for example, in cruise missiles, then in this case sanctions should strike not only at specific companies that contribute to this, but also at those countries that turn a blind eye.
Most likely in the 11th package of sanctions there will also be personal restrictions for Russian officials involved in the seizure of the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant and the abduction of Ukrainian children. Reported by Roman Smoler, Natalia Belokudria, UATV News.